If you like knives with a lot of attitude, you're going to want to stick around for this. The coolest new knives that have just hit the shelves here at Knife Center. I am David C. Anderson. Let's get into it. All right, we're going to start things off with a Knife Center exclusive, a pretty high value Knife Center exclusive. It's not a cheap knife, but at $100, this North Mountain Blade chop crossbar lock exclusive offers a lot for your money. Well, first of all, look at it. It fills the hand really nicely. You got a big aggressive Tanto blade, 3 3/4 inch long. And the blade itself is really special. It is a laminated construction, or a Sanmai or Sanmei style construction, where you have a center core steel, in this case, SLD Magic. Yes, that is the name. Every time I read that, I kind of chuckle a little bit. But it is a high-speed, or I don't know if it's a high-speed tool steel, but it is a high-performing tool steel with stainless outer layers on the outside. So you get this really cool lamination line between. They call it a Hamon blade, but really that's the way they describe their finish here. It's not an actual, like, authentic heat-treated Hamon. It is a laminated construction, as mentioned, and then the edge itself coming up a little bit is polished, buffed to a high polish, and that gets a little bit of like a Hamon-like look, even if it's not an actual Hamon. With that out of the way, however, it's just an awesome, awesome blade. And everything about this feels exceptionally well put together, like all North Mountain Blade stuff. They have some very expensive stuff, but even the more affordable stuff like this is built to the same high standard of quality. I mean, everything feels fantastic. Nice action on the crossbar lock. You got that finger safe closing maneuver, which I always like. Feels really solid when it thwacks into home right there. Pocket clip is reversible, and it is not a deep carry clip. Instead, a little more sticks out of the pocket, making it a little bit easier to grab, which is in keeping with the sort of tactical mindset of this particular knife. Yeah, neutral enough handle, but you've got a finger guard there at the front, which means it is safe to use for all kinds of different hand sizes. Check them out. $100 right now. Yeah, it's very nice. With even more attitude than that knife, however, the Marauder from RMJ. I mean, come on, right? It is certainly an expensive knife. We're at $975 for this knife, so keep that in mind. But it is pretty wicked. We've got a 9.63 inch 3V blade, signature RMJ style milling, a fuller. Can you call it a fuller if it's milled this way? Yes, technically, I guess. We're going to call it one anyway. Hyena Brown G10 for this particular handle. I like this one because we have a few different colors, but I like the kind of wood-like nature that this particular color brings to the table, especially when you add that diamond checkering on the grips there. And of course, it's got the trench spike style knuckles on it as well, and a bead here at the back. Just a wicked, wicked Bowie knife, built in America with very high quality materials and to high degrees of specificity, precision. I don't know why I was thinking specificity, but
not a specific word.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What I like about it is the balance too. It's not it's a long knife, but it's not like a thick, kludgy, heavy knife. It's got a quickness to its feel in the hand. It's agile. It's light it's not lightweight, but it's, the balance works really well on this for sure. What would I use it for? I would take it to camp and hack wood because, I'm an animal and I would do something like that. Here is the sheath. It is leather. With I guess it's canvas inlay. It's Desert Tiger Stripe canvas. Hey, I was right. I didn't even read the book. And a leather backer here on the backer, on the back. Makes sense, right? That can be removed if you want to just slip this in to a pack and you don't want to worry about the belt loops right here, which do have pull the dot snaps on them, by the way, which means they only come open in the one direction, not the band. But it means if you pull them this way, it's not going to snag and pop open, which is always a nice thing. That begs the question, is these hole patterns compatible with something like a Tech-Lock? I haven't checked that beforehand. Let me do that now. Here we go. I got a CVT clip here. It's got the same hole spacing. It's not quite Tech-Lock hole spacing, but a T-clip could do it because you got the slot right there. It's only a few bucks too, which is always a nice thing. Anyway, very nicely done sheath for a very nicely done knife with big attitude. Yeah, the key takeaway there, like the thing I really dig about this one is that agility. Like it's ready to work, and it shouldn't tire you out too much, I wouldn't think. Next up, we have 3 fixed blades from SOG. We have the Pentagon FX Elite, the Seal Commander, and the Pillar Tanto. All of these with S35 VN steel, made in the USA as well. You can see them there right on the back. Prices on these, let's see, we're about $450 for the Pentagon, $430 for the Commander or Seal Commander, and a comparative bargain, $240 for the Pillar Tanto right there. 4 3/4 on the blade length of the Pillar, 5.3 on the Commander, and 5.75 on the Pentagon. They've all got black micarta handles. Another knife right here with this Pentagon that has great balance. I mean, you can see it right there. It's rotating right on the index finger, which means it feels weightless in the hand. That's what that kind of balance always brings to the table, and especially on a combat, or maybe this is less combat, more just straight tactical. Chime in the comments what you think. But with a knife with that type of mission, that certainly is an appreciated thing. Fit and finish is spot on. You got a poker there at the back, skull crusher style pommel, if you want to call it that, and Kydex sheaths all around. Comes with a J-style clip right here, also made out of Kydex. Also, all 3 of these knives also come with a dots attachment clip, which has that Tech-Lock hole spacing as well. So you can carry it horizontally or vertically quite easily. You can also take it on and off quite easily without it accidentally coming on or off quite easily. I don't know how you would accidentally put a knife on, but
never underestimate humans.
Yeah, that is true. But you take my point, I guess. The Seal Commander has that kind of SOG style or SOG buoy style spine treatment right there, taken from the original MACV SOG buoys, which gave rise to the company SOG. SOG didn't make those back in the day, but they were inspired by it certainly, and they've got a long history of doing high quality knives with this type of styling. This is a little bit smaller than some of those bigger SOG buoys, but you've got the same style going on. Bit of a choil here at the front. It's not quite large enough for me to consider it a finger choil on a knife this size anyway. I could get my fingertip in there if I wanted to, but it is unguarded in that case, so keep that in mind. Certainly, balance on here is pretty good too. Let's see. Yeah, that same kind of neutral handling aspect to it, which is really nice. This, of course, flexes more beyond just the tactical stuff. This could be a little more general purpose as a hunting or camping knife as well. And then the Pillar, let's see, are the blade stocks about the same? Yeah, we're about 3/16 of an inch. Well, no, we're a little bit thicker on the blade stock on the first 2 knives. Looks about 3/16 of an inch, but this one, the Pillar, looks about 5/32, I want to say. 0.16 on the thickness there, yep. And 0.19 on the Seal Commanders. So there you go. Micrometers are working today. Balance on this one, it's a little tiny bit more handle biased, but only just barely compared to the others. It still feels very easy to control. Dual flat grinds on the Tanto blade right here. The sheath is a little bit different here. It is a little more minimal, doesn't have the J-style attachment, but again, does come with that dots style or that dots clip for easy on and off. Not accidental on, but no accidental offs. Next up, we have one of my favorite GiantMouse designs, the Rio, available in a new configuration right here. It's about $315. You've got really nice machined 3D handles here, a gentle diamond texture on it, and just a really just about perfect handle shape. It just feels so good for my slightly larger than average hands. Your mileage may vary a little bit, of course, but the overall shape is elegant and neutral, so everyone should be able to get a decent grip on it. And then the blade, a slender or more slender spear points. That might be right along the center line. A drop point in any case, because all spear points are drop points. 3 3/8 of an inch in Magna Cut steel, crowned spine, keeping things nice and classy with that black finish that has just a hint of stonewashing going on with it as well. Melds really nicely with the black handle and the gold accents. It's just really, really nice, I think. Made in Italy. You've got a frame lock right there. A nice, classy, slender presentation when closed as well. And easy opening with the thumb. Let me do the reverse flick as well. Also very, very easy. I dig it. Certainly slightly on the bigger side for a gentleman's knife. It's not an overly large knife, don't get me wrong. But this would be a good Gen-C option if you want something a little bit above that 3-inch mark. And then just a great everyday carry all around as well. If you like the design but don't want to spend quite this much money, this is the new one right now. But the series itself starts at about $195 with a micarta handle, still with the Magna Cut blade. We don't have it in stock at the moment, but you can put pre-orders in on the website, and you don't get charged until it ships as well. So we're not taking your money yet when we do pre-orders. Nothing's getting locked down. You can also get, for the same thing, or same thing with a pre-order, satin titanium and satin blade for $285. Pre-orderable down below. Or this one, available right now, which is nice. Next up, if you were watching earlier this week, we had Andrew Keel from Kershaw, one of the designers in-house here, talking about the new Kershaw and ZT lineup. I pulled two from each of those two brands that seemed like we got the most enthusiastic response from the video. So if you didn't watch that, if you just watched the new knives videos, I'm going to show you those as well. We also did a new Buck Knives video with Lee Althan, one of their former designers, but now like product developers there. Really cool stuff in that. You should check either one of those videos out. But let's talk about the ZT stuff first. Now, this is not going to please the folks who like their ZTs to be big and beefy, certainly. But judging based on some of the slimmer, more pocket-friendly ZT releases of the last couple years, those have been selling really, really well. Contrary to to the chagrin, I think, of some people who want ZT to just be a big honking knife company. So I imagine this is going to sell well also. This is the 117. It comes in about $240, 3.3-inch Magna Cut blade, similar to the GiantMouse in its blade shape overall. Tip is a little bit higher, definitely a drop point there, and slimmer blade steel as well. So it's going to be even slicier. I mean, that is, we're talking more or less bug out levels of thinness on the blade right there. G10, sorry, are these? No, they're full carbon fiber handles. I don't know why I thought G10. Full carbon fiber handles, 3.3 inches on the blade, as mentioned. Crossbar lock. They're really nice deep carry pocket clip that folds over one side, being mounted on the inside, and the weight is 1.9 ounces on this USA-made knife. $240 if I didn't mention the price. Really nice action, as we've come to expect from Kershaw's crossbar locks, which they stubbornly call the Duralock. That's okay. Feels really nice. Thomas, you were really taken with this design as well, weren't you?
Yeah, but money.
Money, yeah. Amongst the several knives that Thomas carries on him day to day, he does carry a bug out, and this was really tweaking his eye as to a potential replacement for that. Because that bug out has seen some miles, yours.
I mean, that's kind of on brand for me.
Thomas does not buy. Thomas has bought the number of knives here since he started working here that I have at times surpassed in a single month. Thomas is definitely the more wise among us on this regard, but this is a video about selling new knives, so maybe ignore that thing I just said.
Yeah, don't do what I do because I need a paycheck too.
That's right. Buy knives so Thomas and I can keep working, please. This is the 5.56 BLK, a blacked out version of the slim 5.56, which if it is not the slimmest automatic knife on the market, it is basically the slimmest automatic knife. Well, I think it's the slimmest automatic knife currently on the market. Whether historically it's the slimmest full-size switchblade is, I don't know enough to declare that with 100% certainty. But look how slim that bad boy is, right? Come on. 384 for this, about the same size in blade, 3.35 Magna Cut with that nice drop point. Again, nice and slim on the blade stock as well. Titanium handles with carbon fiber inlays front and back, and a different version of their inside mounted deep carry fold over pocket clip. A very subtle pocket clip, as you can see from the outside. Let's check out the action, because that's always fun. It's not quite wrist snapping action, but it is every time. Very, very good. Another great, like, gentlemanly switchblade here. Even though it's interesting. Like, the point I made about the GiantMouse was it's maybe a little bit large for a gentleman's knife. This knife is not particularly smaller, but I guess like the thickness and the overall mass of the GiantMouse makes it feel a little bit larger. Even though this ZT is about the same size, because it is so slimmed down, it feels, even more appropriate for like maybe a gent's knife. Tacked out gent's knife here, if you want that. If you want to spend a fewer dollars, satin blade with, or is it satin or is it stonewash? Anyway, a non-black blade and a standard titanium handle with inlays for $368. You can also pre-order that. This one's really cool. Now to Kershaw, this is the 6777. It's the return of the Bareknuckle, which was produced, or it's been out of production for
time.
5 or so years, like more than you think, actually. It was previously produced with a sub frame lock. Actually, we have one back here because we did an exclusive of it. Alphabets. We don't need to label nothing.
Evidence to the contrary.
Here's the original Bareknuckle, which was based on a ZT model, which was the 777, if I'm remembering my ZT numbers correctly. And then they produced 2 Kershaw spin-offs of that, the Bareknuckle, which is US made, and the Natrix, which was more budget-friendly. And it had the sub-frame lock right here. While it is no longer a flipper and it is no longer a sub-frame lock, it is now a crossbar locking knife. And the profile is just about unchanged. Like, there's some very, very minor differences, and I can't even point out where they are exactly. We saw them before, I feel like, but it's pretty much the same. Now with easier left-hand use, more finger-safe closing action. Definitely not as snappy of an open that you could get with the subframe lock flipper as before, but hey, what are you going to do? The milling on the front and back is a little bit different than the old school one, but they've also switched from that old deep carry pocket clip to that interior mounted deep carry clip as well, which is pretty nice. 3.5-inch Magna Cut blade, definitely another nice upgrade because it was 14C28N on the standard US models, and we didn't upgrade on the exclusives. Yeah, 20CV on the exclusives, but hey, Magna Cut, right? Good price on it too. It's a little bit more expensive than the Kershaw Bel Air, which comes in at about $150, but it's also a little bit bigger too, for not a huge jump up in price commensurately. Yeah, action feels good. Green aluminum, black blade. I imagine we may not see the sheer variety that we have in the Bel Air series because that has been so incredibly successful, but I imagine we'll see more than just this with time as well. If you're not into like the black blades or the green handles, you want something a little bit different, coming up. I'm guessing. I don't know anything for sure, but I would be surprised if that weren't the case. Also, speaking of the Bel Air XL-EMT version, there was a lot of positive comments on this knife on that Kershaw video earlier this week. 185 for this, 3.25-inch blade, rounded tip and partial serrations, lending it a bit more to that rescue style of use case, as well as a glass breaker there at the back. And I'm trying to think in terms of like mass-produced American-made knives. I don't know I can't think of another rescue knife that is a mass market American made option out there right now. There might be one. If someone in the comments knows, drop them. If someone's watching and knows, drop it in the comments for me, please. But even if there is, there's very few options for a U.S. made rescue knife. This is one of them. Orange G10 or black G10 are available. I think the black version might have had a black blade. I can't see it on the site there. Slightly bigger handle than the original Bel Air. It fits my slightly larger than average hands just about perfectly if I want a full grip, as you can see right there. And yeah, it's the same great stuff you know and love from the standard Bel Air and Bel Air XL. Now, just different. I don't have anything more to say. It's really nice. It's really cool to see as well. How about some more crossbar locks? Technically, this is a crossbar lock, but this is CJRB's recoil lock, which is a sort of combination of a crossbar with a dorsal style lock tab fin right here, which lets you use it multiple ways.
Dorsbar lock.
Dorsbar lock. Crossel dorsbar. Yeah. Not happy with either of those, really. We'll keep working on it.
You're just mad mine was better.
No, I'm just, it's yes and. We're trying to make it the best we can, right? And there's a third one of these Christmas-themed CJRB bolts. Not quite sure why we have them in January, but you can get a head start on next season's Christmas shopping, I suppose. These are two of the three we have right now. It's still the same great bolt. I mean, it's a solid design for sure, especially when you consider it's a $50 knife. Actually, non-Christmas versions are even a few dollars less. 3¼ inch blade, RPM 9 spray form steel, which is a really awesome material on budget knives, especially like this. And it's got a rose gold drop point blade. I wouldn't necessarily call that rose gold. It doesn't have too much pink in it. In fact, if it didn't say rose gold, I would have just said some kind of gold. It's kind of cool. Action is what you probably want to know about. It's nice. Works really well doing that shark lock style flick right there, or you can just use it as you would a normal crossbar lock. It's a great lock for ambidextrous use, whether you're right or left-handed, or whether you're a righty using it in the left hand or a lefty using it in your right hand. It works really well. Deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible, completing the left hand and right hand friendliness of this design. Yeah, good handle shape that's going to fit just about anyone. Very versatile blade shape with that straight clip right there. Solid option for sure. This is the Snowfall G10. This is, I imagine, peppermint something. The all wrapped up G10 handle. And then there's another option with black handle and black blade with like Christmas, green and gold Christmas ornaments on it, which is pretty cool. But I don't have that right here. Check it out. Or spend $1 or $2 less on the standard version. It's a cool knife. Speaking of crossbar locks, again, the Tenable Fenrir. This was so Tenable is concept or concept. I keep getting conflicting information from official sources on the pronunciation of the parent brand, and it's very frustrating. So I'm going to revert to calling them concept because that's what it looks like.
It's a little easier for the captions too.
And easier for the captions, the auto captions that appear on these videos as well. Tenable is Concept's sub-brand, but unlike some other, like a We Knife Company and Civivi type of relationship, they have brought a lot of the Concept designs into the Tenable brand as budget alternatives to the still existing premium versions. Too many words. What about the knife? This is the Fenrir, probably definitely their most iconic looking knife or distinctive looking knife. This one is about $72 for a black frag pattern aluminum with Nitro V red coated blade. Almost 3.5 inches long and very cool harpoon point styling going on. Feels good in the hand. The texture, both thanks to the frag pattern and the actual texture of the anodization on the aluminum itself, feels really good. Not slippery, just nestles in quite nicely. Good crossbar locking action, for sure. Reversible pocket clip as well. Distinctive styling as well. If you're not into this particular kind of like Darth Maul configuration. What's the low price on this series? Let me just check that real quick while we're here. Button lock versions start at about $57, and crossbar locking versions start at about $60. So we've got about, that's a lot actually, 27 different options on the site, 27 different part numbers. So if you can't find anything right there, that means something. Next up from Tenable, you've got the Jonathan Stiles designed Parr fixed blade, a really cool pocket-friendly fixed blade, complete with a pocket-friendly clip right there on the sheath, which I definitely appreciate. It's reversible, left or right, so it'll work easily no matter which pocket or which side of the body you want to carry it on, whether it is a pocket or not. Kydex. Actually, it's marketed as having an inside the waistband sheath. You could certainly do that as well. $50 for this knife with a just over 3-inch 14C 28N blade. Great combination of stuff right there for sure. Brown micarta handles, gold coated. Again, they call this rose gold as well. I wouldn't call that rose at all, quite honestly. It's more like a desert tan or like a deep coyote. Coyote in a hole.
Rose is just dehydrated.
Or the rose has been dehydrated in the oven, so it's caramelized a little bit. Sure, why not? Grip. It's about a 3-finger grip for me. There is a little bit of space in front of the index finger groove here, but not enough to call it like a true choil or anything like that. And it is unguarded as well, so I appreciate that they keep your fingers a little bit further away from the edge. That's quite nice. Very cool, precise blade shape. They call it a reverse Tanto, and I don't have the energy to fight the website or Thomas today, so we're just going to leave it at that. And with a nice full flat grind and a swedge, that's going to be just a great everyday utility style blade. Great for breaking down boxes, opening packages pretty precisely. Even the tip is not super blunt like a sheep's foot, so you've got some precision there. Just, yeah, great utility knife replacement, and at a really good price too. Like, nothing about this entire package here feels like cheap for $50. So really, really nice. Next up, another small fixed blade. Not quite a pockety fixed blade, although it'd be big for a pocket carry, but maybe not as big as I thought. It's just a lot. It's just bigger than the Tenable right there. Interestingly, it has a shorter on-paper blade length according to the website, but yeah, I'm going to say this Parr does not have a 3.12-inch blade. We'll measure these after the fact and get confirmation. Because this Vosteed H-Back is purported to have a 2.92-inch blade. And measuring them tip to the front of the scale right there, you can see that the Vosteed's actually longer than the Tenable. Interesting. Nitro V on this one, which is very similar to 14C 28N. It's a good tough stainless steel. You can kind of abuse it a little bit thanks to that toughness, and the edge is pretty decent lasting as well. Blue G10 on this one, priced at $65. There are other handle and blade color options that could be had. But yeah, clip point styling, if you like that. That clip point for your day-to-day use would be great for that. This would be a good small hunting knife as well. The ergonomics feel really good. I like the thumb scallops here at the front to effectuate a pinch grip, and you can definitely reach all the way out there towards the tip if you like to do that type of skinning motion as well. Some jimping out there to keep your fingers in place too. Yeah, I like it. Stonewashed blade on this one. Kydex sheath. Yeah. No, it's secure. It just doesn't feel, doesn't have that kind of snapped in feeling going on. J-style belt clip right here, which is rotatable, so you can carry it at any angle you wish, basically, whatever works best for your carry preference. And then with holes and slots, if you wanted to take that off and put something more low profile on it, like an ulti clip or something to effectuate pocket carry, you could certainly do that too. More attitude. How about a bigger fixed blade now? The Guardian5.5 from Bradford. A very cool knife. One of my favorites that they do. It's a great, all around, belt knife. I don't know where I was going with that. I had a thought in mind and I lost my train of thought as we were going. Good survival knife option. I'm a believer that, you know, a good survival knife shouldn't be something that's so huge that you might choose not to carry it when you go out to do something. Like, you want to have a knife on you. That's the adage. The best survival knife is the one you actually have on you. So don't make it, you know, a chore to carry. This is a good all-around size at about 5 inches on the blade, or I guess about 5.5 or so right there. Gives you enough length to do some, you know, fairly big work. You're not going to be going around chopping really with this, but you could, in an emergency, split wood with it if you need to, and yet it's still nimble enough and agile enough to do just the small, you know, basic camp stuff you might be doing. You could do some hunting and butchering with it if you like a larger knife for that type of task. Black micarta for the handles with a great contour that feels really good in the hand. US made, about $250, or is it $249? It's somewhere between $245 and $250. Links in the description, or QR codes in the corner if you're watching this on your TV. And MagnaCut HH steel, which is not a different type of MagnaCut. It is just their designation for MagnaCut because they are pushing the hardness to the 63-64 Rockwell range. They're very proud of that. So they give it the HH nomenclature or moniker right there. Really cool stuff. I haven't explained MagnaCut yet today.
Drink.
People are going to be annoyed some people will be annoyed when I do. But if you're new to the knife world and new to what MagnaCut is, I'm sorry for the old timers, but it is a stainless steel that is both very tough and has very high edge retention. Normally, you pick one or the other when you're dealing with stainless steels there. Or you go a non-stainless, and you can get those other two things too. But anyway, really, really solid option. Oh, sheath. Leather sheath. High quality. Simple pouch. Robust belt loop. Job done. Next up, we have the Exocet is back. From Microtech. It's been a while since we've had Exocets in stock, and we have one variety in stock right now, the double-edged dagger right here. $277 for this, sub 2-inch, so it is a technically California compliant OTF automatic. Double-edged, however, so you have almost 4 inches of sharpened edge that you have to wear out before you need to resharpen. And the steel is M390MK, which is, of course, Spyderco's. Microtech's proprietary, well, actually, no, it's technically not proprietary, but they helped, in the development process with Bowler, the company who makes it, to basically produce M390 at a highly precise, controlled, level that removes a lot of the variance that can come in, other basics or any other steel, quite honestly, and that allows them to achieve repeatable, consistent results in their heat treating in a way that slightly roll the dice some other times, apparently. Aluminum handles, money clip style clip, which is reversible, and of course, nice snippy Microtech action right there. This is not the newest iteration of the drivetrain. If you're wondering about that, this is the previous generation, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the newest thing. Feels good. Check it out. Next up, we have got the plain edge Spyderco Harpy is back with some tweaks. I haven't removed the plastic coating here on the front of the stainless steel handle, so pardon the artifacting that's going to give you on the camera right here. So of course you've got the 2 3/4-inch VG10 blade with that wicked hawk bill shape, hollow ground, Seki City, Japan make, as you can see right there from the back. 4-position steel pocket clip, so you can carry it however you wish. Mid-mounted lockback with the boy dent as well. Now before I get to what differentiates this from the old version of the plain edge Harpy, if you've never experienced a hawkbill blade like this, I can understand why, because it's generally a little bit more difficult to kind of adapt to different types of cutting tasks compared to, say, a typical drop point, which is very versatile. But where this type of blade shape really excels is on pull cuts, especially with material that can kind of like be gathered. Think like fabric, rope, or even cardboard, because you're really aggressively engaging the edge here that's near the tip as you pull through. Material gets gathered up into the edge by the actual shape of the blade, which is nice. Or if you're taking long strokes through cardboard, the blade is hooked down, so it's less likely to slip out of a cut, which can happen with a drop point. And then, of course, you can do really precise tip scoring work with them as well. Now, the difference here versus the old ones is instead of hand construction with pins that are then kind of sanded to being invisible, this is a screw together construction on this one. So Spyderco said they didn't want to bring it back to duplicate the old one because it was discontinued, and Spyderco does keep an eye out towards their collector market as they're making decisions. And I asked them, like, I'm sure the screw together construction is probably cheaper than that hand time as well. And I was told it's actually not necessarily the case, because when they were doing all that handwork, they didn't have to have like tooling fixtures made to build this particular knife. And I don't think this is going to be like a high volume model. So they had to build the tooling to make this a screw together knife. So there are other costs associated with that as well. So anyway, if you were wondering, just an interesting behind the scenes thought about that sort of thing that doesn't always get shared. So I think it's pretty cool. And if you've stuck around this late into the video, we post these videos on Thursday. This knife right here is not out just yet. It is out on Friday, the day after this video posts, noon Eastern time. This is the Finch, what is the name? The Snub Nose. Available in 4 different variations. This is the True Blood Kyanite option, but there's also Mother of Pearl, a gold shred carbon fiber, which they're calling Midnight Honey, and abalone as well. All of them priced at $149. For that, you get a 2 3/4 inch blade of 154 cm with a 2-tone finish, satin flats and stone washed bevels right there. Stainless steel with a frame lock with a matching horizontal grain on it, which is quite nice. And then, of course, the Kyanite, which amongst these handle options is probably, despite its fancier looks, they all do kind of look fancy. This might be the performance choice as well, because unlike some of those other materials, when Kyanite gets a little bit wet, it actually feels a little bit tackier. Similar to micarta will do the same thing. It's different things are making it do that thing, but it's kind of an interesting thing as well. Although the abalone is probably covered up by resin as well, so maybe that does the same thing actually. I'm not sure. The Mother of Pearl is probably covered up by it as well. Ignore everything I just said then, maybe.
What?
Huh? Deep carry pocket clip of the wire variety, keeping things nice and classy and subtle from the outside. It is reversible as well. The frame lock is, of course, a right-hand biased lock, however. Opening on this one is just old school flipper tab right there. Old school flipper tab. I guess you could kind of think of flipper tabs as old school now. I mean, early 2000s when was it that...
Oh, that was yesterday.
We're dating ourselves here, Thomas. It's funny to think of flippers as old school, because the rest of the aesthetics of this knife are even older old school than the advent of the flipper tab, of course. It does what Finch stuff has traditionally done, which has been traditionally inspired patterns, not duplicating traditional patterns necessarily, but definite vintage inspiration with more modern conveniences. The locking, the pocket clip, the one-hand opening. Yeah, really cool broad clip point on this as well. Check it out. Available tomorrow. Available the Friday after this video posts. For that price, I said. At that time, I said. Anyway. What did you think of the knives this week, folks? I really like the big attitude of some of these big fixed blades especially, but lots of cool stuff, I think. Let me know what you thought in the comments. And to get your hands on any of them for yourself, check out the links in the description. That'll take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or Apple Pay and Sezzle options at checkout. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we're signing off. See you next time.